What is going on, gang-a-lang? We are back with another tier list, and this time around, we're going to be doing a music streaming services tier list. And I am more than excited to do this because, as you all know, I do the end of the music playlist for all to enjoy, so you all know that this is the one thing I enjoy.
You know what? Strangely enough, this is one thing I'll give you because we know how much you twerk for music.
Sometimes I don't like all the music you have on there, but I did like the Andy Schaaf shout out you gave out in one of your playlists. That being said, we can't do a tier list on what you like. Remember, Barry, that this is the tier list for the streaming services.
God, I know, Joe, you don't have to tell me how to do the tier list, but yes, everyone, I will be grading these based on a lot of things like the interface, user base, amount of music, and just how it all feels overall.
Okay, so this is where you start to throw in some bull, because at the end of the day, you're just saying you're going to grade these based on how they feel. Man, I know damn well you don't care about the user base.
Yeah, but I had to say that so I could sound smarter. But yeah, I guess user base doesn't really matter, but the other stuff definitely does.
See, I personally grade them based on which ones let me listen to podcasts. See, the Joe Dog is a big podcast guy. I listen to Call Her Daddy, The Guilty Feminist, Call Your Girlfriend, The Hey Girl podcast, and lastly, the Michelle Obama podcast.
Joe, why the hell are these podcasts all targeted for women? And why are you listening to my wife's podcast? I don't even listen to it.
That's because you're a bad husband. And I listen to women's podcasts because it helps me as a man understand my role as a helper to women, because as a male, I understand I hold privileges that many others do not. And I want to help all the women in the world as much as I can. And you should definitely listen to Michelle's podcast, Barack. The Michelle Obama podcast is a deeply personal and thought-provoking series that explores relationships, health, and societal challenges through the lens of her experiences as a former First Lady, mother, and advocate. At its core, the podcast is a reflection on human connection and the importance of community, particularly in times of uncertainty. And Michelle discusses topics such as marriage, mentorship, race, and the struggles of maintaining balance in life.
Oh, wow, I'm actually more intrigued now. I've never seen this side of you, Joe. I have found a whole new level of respect for you now.
Yeah, and it helps me get so much kitty if you catch my drift. Right, Donald?
Joe, stop telling everyone my secret lessons.
What does he mean by secret lessons, Donald?
He doesn't mean anything. It must be his dementia acting up again.
No, I swear I'm not going crazy this time. You literally taught me this the other week, Donald. And you told me that I should listen to a bunch of female podcasts because that way I can get laid more often by feminists who think I'm supporting their cause. You said that this was your #1 method for getting chicks easily.
Wow. Way to spill the fucking beans, Joe. Now every goober is going to attempt the great Don's methods, but they won't have the riz or looks that the Don has, and they'll ultimately fail. Or even worse, actually become a feminist.
Now, what's wrong with that? I think the world can use more empathy and kindness.
So you want to create more sissies?
I'd like more sissy femboys if you ask me.
That's different, Joe. Femboys are allowed to be sissies.
Okay, that's enough. Man, please, can I get started on the list? Like, we shouldn't have to hear your scummy method of picking up girls, Donald, and we shouldn't hear Joe mention femboys in any instance.
Okay, but in my defense, I didn't want my methods leaking either. I was planning on making a class and charging $50 a week.
Oh, can I buy more classes using Trump coin?
Cash only, Joe. Remember I said you have to buy more of the coin till it's worth $1 million? You have to do it now since the price is down?
Oh, shucks, you're so right. I'm gonna buy another 100 grand this week and maybe even some more the week after.
I can't believe you're still scamming the poor old man, Donald. Then again, it's hard to feel bad for Joe whenever he does anything. Anyways, let's get this list started, as this is kind of an easy one because we all know what the top dogs are for music listening. So up first, we have a back-to-back trio of stinkers because I have Tidal, Deezer, and Audius all going into D tier. Let's all be honest here, no one uses any of the three, and if you do and tell another person, the first thing they'll do is make a face at you and probably make fun of you. I should know, because that's what Joe and Donald did to me until I swapped.
And you deserved it too. And they say bullying doesn't work. But clearly you are proof that it does indeed work.
Unfortunately, sometimes it's best to just be a sheep for certain things. But yeah, Tidal pays artists up to 15 cents per stream and has immersive sound, but again, you're not going to be using Tidal. And Audius was cool because it promised more artists money with their cryptocurrency, but I mean, it's way more unknown than Bandcamp and SoundCloud, so it isn't as useful. Lastly, Deezer does have free streaming with ads, but I mean, so does Spotify.
These are more like D's nuts. How about that one, Barack?
And of course, if you mention Deezer or anything starting with D's around Joe, he will of course say D's nuts.
You're leaving yourself open to it. It's only right that I would say that.
Joe, that was maybe funny back in like, I don't know, maybe 2014, but we're in the big year of 2025. We can't be reusing jokes like that anymore.
Yeah, but it's funny in like an ironic way, right?
No, Joe, it isn't. And if anyone laughed at that, I need you to take a moment and reflect on your actions.
Well said, Donald. Well, continuing on with the list, we have Bandcamp, and this is actually a B tier for me. See, this one is pretty cool because it prioritizes artists and allows them to set their own prices and receive a significantly higher percentage of sales revenue compared to other platforms. So you know that when you're buying an album or song, it belongs to you, and it also helps the artist more through sales. And not only that, but they can also sell merchandise and even concert tickets. So the audio quality is elite because it comes straight from the artists themselves, and if they're this small band or group, that you can support them more by buying their album and merch, and I think that's worth it. But I won't lie, I'm not going to be using this constantly unless the music I buy is not on other platforms.
Such a goody two-shoes. Always got to be supporting the artists and this and that. Man, let them struggle and earn their shit from the mud. That's what I did when I received a small loan from my father.
Of course, the super small loan of $1 million. I'm sure that with such little money, you earned everything you have out of the mud.
I'm glad you finally get it, Barack. See, me personally, I'm just going to be streaming their music because buying albums is doing too much unless it's an elite artist.
Like Tom McDonald.
That dude sucks ass. But I mean, he glazes me, so I kind of have to support him. The Don appreciates and embraces the glaze given to him.
Embracing the glaze is something I feel like I would have heard from Joe, but sure, you can do it too, Donald. Anyways, up next, we have back-to-back A tiers with Amazon Music and YouTube Music. See, some of you may be giving me a side eye, but hear me out. Amazon Music is free if you have a Prime membership, and nowadays, who doesn't have a Prime membership? So it's basically just there for free, and if your house is full of Alexa devices, you have speakers all over your house with a large library of music that you have for free because you're already ordering stuff off Amazon Prime. As for YouTube Music, well, I feel like people sleep on this one a bit. See, YouTube Music has music videos on a single tap, so it's a cool feature to have at the touch of your fingertips. YouTube Music also has more variety than any other app, and you see whatever is posted on YouTube is instantly transferred to YouTube Music because it counts as music. Now, this is really helpful because when there is a song you like to hear and it's on YouTube and you go to your music streaming app and cannot find it, can be frustrating, but with YouTube Music, you don't have that problem.
I feel like we're just giving props to YouTube because we don't want to get demonetized or even worse, have our channel get taken down.
Both things can be true, Joe. I'd even argue that YouTube Music deserves an S tier. Please, YouTube, give us more money.
So now we're just blatantly begging YouTube.
Barack, it's not begging, it's called doing business.
Yeah. Well, while you do business, we're going to move on to our final three. The head honchos, if you will, and I have back-to-back S tiers with SoundCloud and Apple Music.
I don't like that you didn't put all three into S tier. What the heck, man? Spotify is the best music app, and we all know it.
Well, Joe, maybe I want to add some suspense. Who knows where it'll go? Maybe I'm pulling a fast one and trying to convince everyone I wouldn't put it into S tier, but in all reality, it is. You'll have to wait and hear me out to get the full thing. But first, let me explain why SoundCloud and Apple Music are in S tier. And let me start off with SoundCloud because this was the goat of music streaming before anything else. And the reason why is because artists would upload straight here and not monetize stuff because maybe the music couldn't clear the copyright or something, right? So they upload there and we get some cool underground stuff. And speaking of that, we also have a lot of niche artists that aren't mainstream and they go on here as well, and you can find the next big thing. Lord knows Joe was praising Little Pump when he found him all those years ago, even though he sucks ass.
Nah, me and Donald love him so much. He's the best. Isn't that right, Donald?
Unfortunately, this man also glazes me, so I have to say his music is okay.
Wow, you sound really sad about admitting that, but you really can just be bought out for any amount of support or money. But yeah, SoundCloud has been that app to stream certain music and artists for a lot of people, and I still use it from time to time when I can't find music elsewhere. Although I will say that YouTube Music is quickly coming for its throne, but for now SoundCloud belongs up there. Meanwhile, for Apple Music, well, this is the best interface, best sound, and I have Apple devices. I'm a victim to falling for the Apple ecosystem of devices. So naturally, I also have Apple Music, and they have been stepping it up on a lot of fronts. Even their end of the year wrap-ups have gotten way better, and I'd say they're on par with Spotify after their stinky wrap-up from last year, which leads me to the final rating, and that is Spotify, which is an absolute A tier because they were the king, but they have been dethroned now because they've gotten too lazy. They've been slacking because they're so used to being on the top, but let me tell you that the Spotify DJ sucks. And like I said earlier, that wrap-up for 2024 sucked total ass.
Okay, man, now you're blatantly hating. Spotify is like the #1 streaming app.
Just because you're the #1 on something doesn't mean that it's good. I mean, like I said, they simply got lazy and other apps are catching up.
This dude is just saying all this because they canceled his exclusive deal for the podcast with his wife back in 2022.
Well, that plays a factor too, but I mean, that's not totally it.
To think after hating on Donald for selling out, you'd be the biggest sellout in the room. For shame, Barry, for shame.
You know what, though? I respect this. I'd put those fuckers in D tier if they ever crossed the Don's money.
See, it's totally reasonable to hate on them for it.
Only thing I'm hating on is your wife's stupid-ass podcast. Now, what is freaking going on, gang-a-lang? We're here with another video, and this time the Joe Dog is going to take you on a trip down memory lane with all these Disney princesses, and I will be ranking them based on how smashable they are.
Are we really doing this?
Well, we did say he was allowed to do a list like this, and both you and I didn't want to do the Disney princess tier list, so here we are. At least we know that Joe, for some creepy reason, knows all their names and what movies they're from.
Oh, I lied about that, but I figured that it won't matter since I'm just going to be ranking them based on how hot they are.
Dear Lord.
Hey, let's think about this logically. The people wanted this and it'll get crazy. Especially if the Joe Dog is manning the ship.
Maybe they were hoping I'd do it or something and actually rank their personalities and how important they were to their movies. Not whatever in God's name you have in store for them.
Well, now hearing about how you wanted to do the list, I must say that Joe's idea is a lot more entertaining and more worthwhile. I think ranking hotness is indeed the move, Joseph.
Why, thank you, Donald. Finally, someone with some brains around here and realizes that the best way to do anything list-related surrounding women is to simply objectify them and reduce them only at their face value looks.
Literally everything you said was so wrong and terrible. Like, think of the 9% of our female viewers and what they think.
Man, they can rank the baddies too. The Joe Dog will objectify any man, woman, or thing that comes across his life. I do not discriminate when it comes to gender. You can be a he, a she, they, or an anything really. And I'm still going to look you up and down and give you the Joe decree of badness on the bangable chart.
Well, that makes it slightly better, but it's still a terrible message overall.
I'm oddly enough extremely compelled by Joe's rebuttal, and I for one need this list to get started because knowing Joe, he's going to have some weird-ass preferences.
I will happily start the list, Donald, and you'll all see where I will put these beauties. Well, up first we have back-to-back banging S tiers with Alice, and well, I don't know who the other baddie is, but something about her look just makes the Joe Dog want to give her an S.
Great, so we start off with a literal child and a person Joe doesn't even know.
The Joe Dog don't got to know any names to have them participate in the Devil's Tango. And I mean, Alice is 15 and that's legal in some countries, maybe even states. I really don't know because I'm not president anymore, but I'm sure Donald is working on lowering the age of consent on those pesky states.
Damn straight, brother. You already know I'm putting in the work.
I'm going to be sick to my stomach.
Man, we just started the list and this sissy already is sick. Come on, man, you cannot dislike women that much. Alice is mature for her age, and honestly, who knows what goes on in Wonderland. She probably got freaky with that cat for all that we know. But that's besides the point, because up next we have the sister from Frozen, and she only gets a C tier. Like, she's just too basic looking, and if you ask me, I'd rather have her Elsa, because with those powers, she can spice things up.
Don't even begin to explain what that entails.
You're right, I can wait till she comes up for that. But anyways, then after we have back-to-back A-tier entries with Ariel and Aurora, also known as Sleeping Beauty, and listen, they're hot as hell, but I personally didn't like how Ariel became a human at the end of the movie. Like, isn't the whole point of the movie supposed to be about self-love and acceptance? What kind of message does that send to the younger generation if they get taught that becoming normal and adhering to what everyone else looks like will ultimately reward them?
Now that's a fucking message I can get behind. Way to go, Joe.
Just wait. I bet he's not finished.
Donald is right because I would have loved to have felt that mermaid Ussie and done all sorts of freaky things with her tail in the ocean.
You know what? I blame myself for even thinking he could be an okay and normal human being.
Okay, that explains Ariel, but why does my sexy Queen Aurora not get an S-tier entry?
Because she's sleeping, and she'd have no reaction to the Joe hammer.
But that's the best part.
Nah, man, only the Joe dog can sleep post-coitus, and I can't have the two of us just knocked out. But don't worry, because we are back to greatness with our next entry, because Belle is an amazing S-tier, because if she can fall in love with some hideous deformed monster, then she's probably into animals and stuff, so that's how you know she's one freaky gal. I know she'd love what the Joe dog has, and she'd love me for who I am on the inside, but don't you worry, because I'd show her what a real monster looks like once I get her inside my bedroom.
I really feel bad for the viewer that requested this. I can't imagine the look on their face after seeing their princesses get described in such an obscene and disgusting way.
They knew what they were signing up for when they requested this. It always goes the Joe way. But anyways, after that, we now have Cinderella, and like she's only in B tier because she's so dainty and basic, plus I don't like how dainty her feet are. Give me a real woman with some massive stompers like her sisters. Man, oh man, I'd love to have them step on random pieces of food and then have me lick their feet and toes clean after they humiliate me.
Joe, you are really messed up in the head, and I only agree with like 50% of what you had to say.
The fact that you agreed with half of it is honestly quite concerning. I will say, though, she is pretty basic, so I get the placement before you said all the gross stuff.
The Joe dog knows where to place his princesses, what can I say? Like with our next entry, because we got another S tier with Esmeralda from the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I liked how she cucked that ugly hunchback Quasimodo, and honestly, we need more spice on this list. I love me her cinnamon skin and beautiful eyes, like, give me some more of that Latina spice.
Joe, this movie was not based in Latin America. She is Romani, and like it's shown pretty well in the movie, and the whole film is set in Paris.
Yeah, Joe, my illegal radar would have started beeping if she was Latina, but I can't lie, a baddie is a baddie.
Listen, she looks Latina, and I don't think there's a Latina princess on here, so like, you got to take what you can get. But after that, we go back to an A-tier entry with this chick with the squirrel. I don't know what her name is, but she's hot. And like if she can get that squirrel to get in on the action, then she would get boosted to a higher tier. But for now, she stays where she's at.
What could the squirrel possibly do to get in on the action?
Well, you know that one episode of South Park with Lemmy Winks, the class hamster? If you know, then you know, and I imagine that squirrel would be in the same spot as the hamster.
Those who have not seen South Park are lucky to not know what this entails.
More like they're missing out on the fun. Just like those of you who wouldn't rank our next entry in S tier because our curry princess Jasmine is getting up there. I said we needed more color, and listen, if her family could cook some recipes like the ones I saw in our Indian street food reaction video, then hell, I need to wife her up as soon as possible.
Joe, you know that she isn't Indian, right? Aladdin is set in the Middle East, I think, and honestly, I'm not too sure on that because it borrows elements from a whole bunch of cultures.
So she could be Indian and you're just being racist.
Okay, I don't think the guy who called her Curry Princess has any room to talk about racism.
But I gave her a high rating, so like I'm not disrespecting her. You, on the other hand, could possibly be denying her culture, maybe. I don't know either, but that's on you, Barry. But after that, we have a stinker of a D tier because Kaida from Atlantis is kind of a baddie, but I can't get over her white hair. The Joe dog is the only silver fox allowed, and there cannot be two. If it were up to me, I'd nuke all of Atlantis because they were doing too much in that whole movie.
I like the nuke approach, Joe. But I mean, come on, man. Even if she's a little ethnic, she is still a baddie.
Okay, why are you saying she's a little ethnic as deterrent? What does that matter? She's not even a real ethnicity. She's an Atlantean person, and why would you ever want to nuke those people?
They're making people with white hair look normal. I want to be the one that stands out the most. When I enter a club, I turn heads and all the people are like, look at that silver fox that just walked in.
Joe, my whole family lineage's life could be on the line, like erase the whole Trump bloodline if I'm wrong. But I'd stake everything in my entire life that no one has ever said that. They probably turned heads because the moment you entered the room, it all just stunk up with the smell of a rotting body.
It's a manly smell and it's called Aura Donald. You need to learn how to get some. Which, speaking of aura, we got that fox princess from Robin Hood, and I can feel that behind those innocent eyes. She got some freak energy going on, and she gets an A tier.
I agree with this. She definitely is one bad girl.
Dude, what the hell? You were against everything on the list, But now your furry ass wants to do it with the fox.
Not just any fox, Donald. She is an anthropomorphic fox who has intelligence and therefore can consent to any sort of activities. I would never stoop to Joe's level, though, because I get to know her day by day. I'd love to take her out to wonderful dinners and listen to every single little thing she has to tell me and worship her like a goddess. We'd have an amazing hybrid son who would be half humans and half humanoid fox, and he'd have the best genetics in the world, and I already see him be the best athlete in the world. Talking about how lovely she is, I can already see myself lying on her soft, furry belly as she rubs my head and puts me to sleep.
I mean, all that is a bit much. I just want some foxtail.
You're losing me, Joe. You better start cooking or the kitchen is gonna burn down.
And cook I will, Donald, because up next we have that one chick from Hercules, and she gets a C tier because she just has a dumbass face. I don't like it one bit, and that's the main reason for that rating, but I mean, I might as well hate on the next two because I have this random basic looking girl and the ginger from Brave both going into D tier. Like, I don't even know who the first chick is, and her face and look is kind of just pissing me off, and the ginger from Brave has too much of a round face. I don't like the way that movie was animated.
Okay, that seems like a critique of the movie's animation style rather than anything directly on her. She was pretty good in the movie. I liked her character.
Yeah, but she's the polar opposite of what a baddie should be. Unlike our next Islander beauty, because I am giving Moana an A tier entry. She has some nice curls, and I don't know what else to say because I'm just a fan. Let me tell you that her age also got her this high too.
Joe, she's 16, right?
That's what makes it so good.
Jesus Christ, man.
You know, man, I don't know if you have any room to speak after your comments about the fox from Robin Hood.
Donald, let a brother talk about weird stuff because I'm about to get freaky myself because I have 3 S tiers. Up next, I have Nala, Lilo's mom, and Pocahontas all going into S tier.
Okay, this is where I draw the line. Nala is literally an animal.
So was the damn fox, but you didn't have a problem with that.
This is different because the foxes were bipedal and they had humanoid characteristics. Nala literally is just a lion.
Honestly, her just being a normal lion just makes it hotter, like she's already on all fours, but she can talk and stuff, so like she's a smart lion and she'll want to tangle with Down Under with the Joe dog. Lilo's mom and Pocahontas are just baddies, though. I don't even need to explain those two.
Damn straight brother on the two actual baddies. Need me a Pocahontas or Islander mother in my life. Then I'd really make America great again.
See, I think I'm making America hard again with all these rankings of these Disney baddies, and yet again we got another AE tier with Princess Island Y. And she is indeed a baddie, but she's like so forgotten that nobody really cares about her. And if she had more clout, then the Joe dog would put her higher, but I feel like she'd cramp my street cred.
Joe, you have zero street cred. If anything, I think your street cred is in like the negatives.
But multiply a negative with another negative and you got a positive. Checkmate Donald.
You're so fucking stupid.
Would a stupid guy put Jane from Tarzan in B tier?
Yes, because she's a baddie.
Nah, man, listen, she fell in love with Tarzan, who is a guy who grew up around apes and he probably never bathes, never brushes his teeth, nor has he ever combed his hair. If she can fall in love with such a disgusting man, then she has no morals.
Okay, that actually sounds like the perfect woman for you considering how much you actually stink and avoid brushing and showering. But if you hate her so much, why is she in B tier?
Well, I mean, she's still a baddie. Not as much as our next entry because Mulan is a straight S tier in my books. She is my androgynous queen and is a reverse femboy. She's a boy femme, and if I want her to look like a boy, she'll do it. And if I want her to look like a girl, she'll also do it. It's the best of both worlds.
Hold on, Joe might be spitting here.
I know I am. I spit facts and saliva. Just like how I have Rapunzel going into C tier because she's basic as hell and Snow White is a freaking D tier. Like Rapunzel is just so basic that I have to put her that low, and don't even get me started on Snow White. You already know she has crazy parties with those 7 dwarves, and I guarantee you each one of them has smashed repeatedly. No thank you for the Joe dog.
The way you twist these innocent people in stories is honestly somewhat of a skill. A gross and disgusting skill that no one wants, but I mean, it's still a skill.
Oh, believe me, I'm not the only one. All it takes is a quick Rule 34 check on Snow White to see what people like me truly think. But let's move on to our second to last entry because I have Princess Gianna going straight into A tier. Some excellent chocolate milk, if you ask me. Want to dap me up for that entry, Barry?
No, I really don't want to.
You think you know a brother? Well, that leaves us with our final entry, and you all know damn well I'm going to glaze Elsa because I have her going into S tier. With her ice powers, you know the ice play is going to go crazy, and you know damn well that the Joe dog is highly, highly interested to see what she can freeze, if you all catch my drift.
Oh yeah, Joe. I'm feeling this entry a lot. For once I can smell what the Joe dog is throwing down, and it's finally not shit.
Well, it's also that I accidentally got too excited and might have farted too hard that I crapped myself. What is freaking going on, gang-a-lang? We are back with another video, and this time around, we're going to take you down a nice little trip through memory lane. We are going to be reviewing a bunch of his seen on TV products, and a lot of them are from back in the day because these are really well known, so I am excited to be in charge of the list since I have the big bro privilege.
Joe, your ass ain't big bro.
Okay, then I'm the dad of the group.
Joe, you're definitely not the dad.
Okay, I'm at least the unk. I refuse to go any higher.
Joe, your ass is not the unk. Maybe grand unk or supreme unk, but definitely not a normal unk. Your ass is a dinosaur.
You say dinosaur, but I'd say that I'm experienced in a lot of things. I could show you a thing or two, Donald. You just have to open yourself up to me in more ways than one.
Joe, you know I would never do that consensually.
Don't need that anyways. But anywho, let's go ahead and get the video started because I won't hold up the class with an intro and instead jump right into the video, and we will have Fraile play a little bit of the ad before we get to the ranking just to give you all a refresher.
Watch how OxyClean unleashes the power of oxygen, making tough stains disappear like magic without fading or bleeding the colors.
Okay, that's enough because we don't want to get a copyright strike. But yes, we start with an immediate S-tier entry with OxyClean, and of course the picture I chose is the late legend Billy Mays. Our hero, may he rest in peace. Everyone should remember this man and how he was the king of the ad scene on TV. And he really was the LeBron James of advertisements. He paved the way for people like Jake from State Farm and proved you can get clout by merely being an advertising dude, and that's it. I respect his hustle and grind, and even have him as my wallpaper on my phone.
You know, I never really thought of it that way, but you actually have a valid as hell point there, Joe. Billy Mays was really a household name back then, and the fact that he still is remembered by a lot of people to this day shows how influential he was. And I actually do agree that Billy Mays walked so that Jake from State Farm could run.
Yeah, that dude has shown up in the NBA All-Star game and gets shown off as a celebrity. I don't know why the hell he garnered so much clout, but good for him. It reminds me of my times working on The Apprentice. It was some good times. By the way, you guys can all watch that show on Amazon Prime now.
There he goes, shamelessly plugging his old show on our channel.
You did the same when talking about podcasts last time. You kept bringing up your wife's podcast.
That was actually Joe.
Yeah, but I didn't actually listen to it. I just regurgitated what I found on the Wikipedia page. But anyways, after that, we actually have a cool entry coming up, and that is the Chia Pet version of Barry. Fraile, roll the ad.
Introducing
Chia.
Chia Obama. This Chia Obama is a special edition and a collector's item. Just spread the seeds, water, and watch it grow.
Oh man, I love this sucker, but it only gets a B tier because Chia Pets were kind of dumb. But don't worry, Barry, I've kept yours in a special jar that is slowly getting filled up.
Oh my God, throw that away, please. I don't even want to ask what you're filling it up with because I already know that it's something I don't want to hear on this video.
I will not be throwing it away. That thing is basically a family heirloom, and I will make sure that it gets passed down through the whole Biden bloodline as we all add in our special Biden juices to the jar.
I hate that literally can't do anything about it. I hate that you told me in the first place. I think I just hate this situation overall.
Is this your first time being added to Joe's cum jar? You eventually get used to it. When he got elected as president, he kept texting me pictures of MAGA hats in those jars, bobbleheads of me, posters of me, anything that had me or was affiliated with me. He just kept adding it to jars and filling it up with his Joe juice. After a while, I just became numb to it all because anytime I tried to do anything about it, he'd have officers on my door. All I could do was sit in the cuck chair as he texted me his atrocities, or even worse, he'd mail them to me once they get filled to the brim.
Oh man, those were some good times. I might have to start all that back up again with you, Donald, but oh man, what a great trip down memory lane for us, Donald. Well, anyways, let's go on to the next entry, which is the ShamWow.
Hi, it's Vince with ShamWow. You'll be saying wow every time you use this towel. It's like a chamois, it's like a towel, it's like a sponge. A regular towel doesn't work wet. This works wet or dry.
Now see, this is actually getting a D tier because the ShamWow was actually a sham. It worked about as well as normal paper towels. It would literally soak up a tiddlywink of liquid and then be done. This shit was a high-class scam. And the only redeeming thing about this product is that the ShamWow guy got arrested for fighting a hooker, and his mugshot makes it look like he lost. So in a way, we got our redemption, America.
I was never dumb enough to buy those things. I mean, why would I ever need a ShamWow when a maid or butler can clean up the spill for me?
There goes Donald Trump, your everyman president. I really see myself and my values within you and can see you're for the people.
Kinda gay you see yourself inside of me.
Yeah, back off Barry. You know that only I'm allowed to do that?
You are never allowed. Last time I remembered, I only allowed my bud Elton John to think of me that way, but the rule was that he had to pay me every time he did it.
What?
Nothing. Joe, please go on to the next item because it looks like you need it.
Help! I've fallen in the park and I can't get up.
Don't worry, help is on the way.
You know, funnily enough, I did have Life Alert, and it worked for me the one time I slipped down on one of my blue Gatorade dogs that I dropped. So I'll give it an A tier only because every single time I fell, they would answer, but after like the 10th time, they started hanging up on me and ignoring my cries for help. So I had to get up all on my own.
Wait, so why did you even call them or use the button if you were able to get up on your own?
I just enjoyed the fact that people cared about me, and whenever they'd come over and help me, they'd touch me and grab a hold of me, and I just longed for human touch, so I kept using it over and over.
That's honestly a bit sad.
Not as sad as this next entry, because fuck this thing.
Fushigi! Hi, I'm Tim Goey, and this is Fushigi. You can make Fushigi defy gravity and appear to float in midair.
The Fushigi freaking sucks and goes into an immediate D tier. Dude, this thing was so lame, and the commercial makes you think it's like this floating magical ball, but once you order it, you find out it's just a normal-ass sphere. I was so ready to impress all the huzz with this ball, but instead I got a pamphlet on how to do the tricks, and now it's sitting on my goddamn desk as a paperweight. The worst part is that since it's a ball, it rolls over and falls every other minute, so it sucks as a paperweight too.
Joe, why the hell are you using it as a paperweight then?
I mean, what else am I supposed to use it for? I tried playing with it by pretending I was a mother hen and I was nesting and waiting for the sphere to hatch, but that role play got boring after a while, and sitting on a sphere for hours really left my butt really sore.
You are such an odd man, Joe. I don't understand how that idea even crosses your mind.
I mean, I had to get some use out of it because it was such a scam, unlike our next product, because this shit is indeed a slapper.
Hi, Phil Swift here for Flex Tape, the super strong waterproof tape.
Now, since you guys already heard me glaze it a bit in the start, you guys already know that I am placing Flex Tape into S tier. This stuff actually fucking works, and I have used it a ton of times. Especially now since I stopped living in my house, I needed to use some Flex Tape for my alleyway and my temporary bunker by the boxes. I've made a little fort, and it's made of mostly stuff I found and some Flex Tape.
Been meaning to ask about that, but I never found the right time. But why are you living outside, Joe?
Because I put all my money into Trump coin, and I'm waiting for all you suckers to lose everything in the recession because Donald told me that Trump coin will become the official currency in the United States. Just got to give it a couple of months.
You just gotta keep waiting, buddy. Remember to fight off the other homeless dudes for your Wi-Fi access so we can keep making videos that you make no money from.
Well, funny story about the homeless people. See, they actually respect me, and I've actually become their king. They know that if they try to rebel and stand up to me, well, the great Joe scepter will be inserted inside of them. I had to make an example out of the biggest guy here. It's kind of like prison rules, and I love that. But either way, my Wi-Fi is fine because I'm next to a Starbucks for the free Wi-Fi. But more importantly, I'm safe and warm because of our next product.
Now, there's the Snuggie, the blanket that has sleeves. The Snuggie keeps you totally warm and gives you the freedom to use your hands. So now, you can work the remote or read a book in total warmth and comfort.
See, the Snuggie gets a straight A tier entry because this thing is actually incredibly useful, and I'm wearing one as we speak. It really helps me stay warm, and sure, I could just cut holes in a blanket or just use a robe. But the point of a Snuggie is for the novelty of owning a Snuggie, and I personally love mine.
I hate these things. They don't have one in quadruple extra large, and I am personally boycotting their products because of it.
Goddamn, man. Please lose some weight.
I am attaining mass for reasons beyond your comprehension, Barack. I can hibernate and live a solid 3 months off my body with no food. Your skin and bones, so you would never understand.
I just don't understand why you would need to do that. It's not like you're Joe who is actively homeless.
Whoa, I never said that I was homeless. I actually have multiple assets and homes around the United States. I just let my wife and kids live in them. I'm living outside to learn street rules and become strong enough to destroy Donald in the 2028 election using his own coin against him. But enough of my future plans. because we have our next item on the list.
Presenting the clapper. Lets your appliances turn on and off just by clapping. Clap on the music.
The clapper is a pretty all right product. It's kind of useless because who the hell forgets to turn off their light before sleeping? And it was pretty annoying when I was hosting my Georgies because the lights would turn off and on constantly and it felt like I was in a damn rave, so it has to go into C tier.
I don't even want to ask what a Georgie is because part of me knows, and I do not want to subject me or the listeners to your description of what it is. Can we move on to the next product and just leave it at that?
With Space Bag storage packs. For bulky bedding, I use Space Bag's high-capacity cube. Just pack your items, seal the airtight zipper, and vacuum out the air through the one-way valve.
The Space Bag storage bag. Now, this was actually a banger and goes into S tier. These things are actually useful and did work, and I still use them to this day. It sucks out all the air and compresses things so much that they barely take up any space at all. Let me tell you that you should definitely not try it with your little Joe dog in your pants. But aside from my personal mishap with it, it provides a simple and effective way to store things, and the Joe dog appreciates a product that works unlike our last one. May God himself smite whoever invented these freaking moon shoes, because these are going straight into D tier because not only did they not work, but they also broke both of my ankles because when I bought them a while ago, I thought I'd be able to jump super high if I jumped off the top of my roof, and instead I barely got up and just shattered both of my ankles.
Sounds like natural selection if you ask me, Joe.
Nah, he's cooking with this because when I ordered mine, I expected to be dunking basketballs like LeBron, but after one bounce, they immediately broke. This is a faulty product.
Well, that seems like a weight issue and probably a wake-up call for you, but I know you'll just ignore it, even though I doubt it supports anything above 1,000 pounds, and you just chose to ignore that. And again, these things are clearly advertised for children, so I don't know why you two even bought these freaking things.
There you go again, making fun of us, Barack. God forbid a white boy catches a vibe.
I want to catch more than just a vibe, if you all catch my drift. But I thought these things were going to make me the hottest old man on the block. But instead, I got broken ankles and a shattered rectum. But that second one was a totally unrelated incident.
What is going on, gang-a-lang? We are back with another tier list, and we are finally delivering on one that I know a ton of you have been clamoring for, and we are going to be doing a dinosaur tier list. Now, we don't have every single dinosaur on here because that would be too long of a video, but we chose our favorites that we know about, and I feel like we have a pretty good selection. Keep in mind, though, we have more than just reptiles because for whatever reason, Joe insisted that we added the dodo bird, so this is more like an extinct animal tier list. But that won't bang as hard as a dinosaur tier list, so we're going to clickbait you guys.
Okay, in my defense, I only requested the dodo bird because you didn't let me put in a freaking isopod. I've been fascinated with them ever since I was on YouTube and saw Hiroyuki Terada absolutely decimate one and then proceed to make some fried rice with it.
Dude, that guy is amazing. I watch him make some good-ass meals. Him and Google Foods, because that dude is always dry aging some steak and some random-ass thing. And you know what? I will always click on a new video from him and watch it all the way because damn, it gets me wanting some steak. And it all looks so good.
Oh, well, I just like to watch the real eaters like Matt Stoney and Beard Meats Food, but Hiroyuki Terada is good for when I want to watch something get decimated. Like I've seen him take out multiple lobsters. I loved his eel video, and the frog one was cool as hell too. Basically, whenever the video says graphic content in the thumbnail, then you know my ass is looking just to see what he does to the animals.
That's a bit demented, but I mean, he is pretty cool. I guess more power to you, Joe, but either way, we are here to educate the masses and talk about these damn dinosaurs. So let's go ahead and get the list started. And up first, we have the plesiosaur, and this bad boy gets an A tier to start us off. See, there were large marine reptiles that had a long neck, small head, broad body, and paddle-like limbs, adapted for swimming. So imagine something like sea dinosaur, kind of like what I imagine the Loch Ness monster would look like.
I don't like how flappy their arms are. Like I get they're mainly in the water, but I can see how these dudes went extinct. Like imagine their arms got gnawed off and they'd have no choice but to sit there and wait till something bigger just eats them up.
Kind of how my homeless friends decide when we need to sacrifice someone. We had a rough winter, and as their king, I started this sort of selection process like the Hunger Games, except instead of a battle to the death, we kind of just beat them with bottles till they pass out and then roast them alive and eat them.
What the hell, Joe?
I like it. It's survival of the fittest, Barack. And if you really think about it, these dinosaurs did something similar. They all had to survive in the cruel world, and the strongest survived. So I personally support your weird people eating process, Joe.
Okay, no, we are not complimenting Joe for that. I need to find out where you're hiding out because I will report you. But I guess in a way you are right about the dinosaurs. But again, we are not them, so we can't do the same things. Enough of that, though, because our next entry is the fierce and mighty Megalodon. They made a movie about this guy, and everything it was estimated to have reached lengths of 50, 60 feet and was an apex predator in prehistoric oceans. But to put it in the simplest terms, this is a huge ass shark, and that's extremely cool, so it goes in S tier. But again, this thing is huge, like I'm talking about at least 4 Donalds combined in terms of weight.
I find that hard to believe.
Thank you for defending my honor, Joe.
Yeah, we all know that 4 Donalds is way too heavy for the Megalodon.
All right, fuck you, buddy.
That's a good one, Joe. But yes, it was a huge version of one of our current animals, and our next entry is the same as well because I have the Deinosuchus going into A tier. The Deinosuchus measured at 35 feet long and weighed over 8,000 pounds. Hunted best in the water. It was ambushing prey like turtles, fish, and even small dinosaurs. So this dude was out here hunting everything and absolutely destroying them. Like, can you imagine a 35-foot-long crocodile that also weighed half of what Donald does?
Okay, I'm starting to get tired of this low-hanging fruit, man. One more fat joke and I'm about to crash the hell out.
Donald, don't leave. We wouldn't be able to live under the weight of our guilt.
Was that another fucking fat joke, Joe?
I'm not smart enough for that, Donald. Please remember that you're our king and great president. We love you.
Joe, you literally cannot gaslight me, man. I am the king of gaslighting others, so I know damn well when it's being done to me.
Donald, you're truly the best thing to ever happen to my life, and I would never gaslight you. You're the smartest and most handsome man to ever exist. And may I say that your voice can make 1,000 angels descend from heaven.
You passed the test for now, Joe, but I'm watching you.
Okay, enough with delays, Joe. I have to continue the list, and we have this stupid-ass dodo bird up next, and Joe probably has as much brain power as the bird. This thing gets a freaking D tier, and I'm sure we all know about the dodo, so no need to talk about it.
No, we all got to know about their wings because they were too small to support flight, a natural adaptation to their island environment with no predators. But contrary to popular belief, they didn't die because of their stupidity, but rather they went extinct due to humans because they caused a lot of bad things, including hunting, habitat destruction, and the introduction of invasive species. So who is the dick here, Barry?
Well, I guess I am. I didn't know that.
And here you were ready to spread misinformation. People like you absolutely disgust me. You are the scum beneath my shoe that I scrape off on the sidewalk before stepping on something more pleasurable like a pile of dog crap.
All right, my bad, man. I didn't know how serious you took this dodo bird shit, but Jesus, I'll make sure not to do that with the next entry. But then again, I actually really like T-Rexes, so it's kind of a bias here, but I have this going into a banging S tier. I know it's overrated, but like everyone likes them for a reason. They're amazing dinosaurs with powerful jaws and short forelimbs that everyone likes to make fun of, but they were one of the largest carnivorous land animals to ever walk the earth, and that in itself is dope as hell.
I'm not gonna lie, I was fully expecting the largest carnivorous land animals to ever walk the earth before Donald was born. But I was pleasantly surprised to not hear that.
Dude, the world doesn't revolve around you. We're here talking about dinosaurs and having fun. Why would we ever make fun of you, Donald? You're our friend.
Joe, what did I say about gaslighting me? I told you to never ever try to gaslight me again. I only do that to you, and if you ever try that again, I will execute you. This is your final damn warning.
Sorry, Donald, but I was being honest and spoke my true feelings.
What a weird dynamic you two share. I seriously don't get it, but I mean, hey, I won't intrude on that. Anyways, up next, we now have the Triceratops, and this gets a B tier. I never really was a Triceratops twerker, but I know some people like it, so I didn't place it too low. But I mean, these guys aren't really all that. They have a cool and funky looking face. But aside from that, it doesn't move me much.
I just don't like that these dudes are herbivores. Like, I want some badass dinosaurs that'll fuck shit up and fight other dudes to the death. That's what I fuck with.
I won't lie, that's what I like too. It just makes them so much cooler. But again, up next, we have another snoozer because we have another herbivore, and that is the Stegosaurus, and these guys get a C tier, but I do like their distinctive double row of upright kite-shaped plates along its back. That's pretty cool. And I feel like they are a very well-known dinosaur too.
I bet those plates on their back would make some very good decorations. God, I would have loved to have hunted these suckers back in the day. I know I'd survive in the prehistoric era.
I mean, you're damn near from that era, Joe, so it doesn't surprise me. But I must agree that a T-Rex head would go crazy in my living room.
You two are the reason why animals go extinct, but again, I'm not surprised at all to hear that coming from you two. Well, up next, we have back-to-back B-tier entries with yet again more herbivores with the Brontosaurus and Diplodocus. These two are similar enough that I figured this entry for both would be fine. I mean, they're both massive, long-necked, peaceful herbivores, so not much to say about them because they're kind of non-factors.
Nah, man, respect their neck game. I bet they can throat all of us in one go. The Joe throat cannot compare to that, and I have to bow down out of respect to these long-necked dinosaurs.
You always have a dirty mind, man.
He can't help it, man. It's probably the only thing preventing him from fully succumbing to his dementia or Alzheimer's.
I'd argue that he's still succumbing to it, but that's neither here nor there because we have another badass entry coming up with the S-tier saber-toothed tiger. They were these huge cats with exceptionally long, curved upper canine teeth that kind of looked like tusks that were specially adapted for stabbing and slashing large prey, contrary to popular belief. They were not closely related to modern tigers, but rather belonged to a distinct group of extinct cats.
Wow, way to rattle off all that info, you nerd.
I had to study up for this damn list since Joe is only interested in freaking isopods and dodo birds, and you said this shit was for nerds. So what did you want me to do, not give this list to our viewers? Plus, I've been on a cooking streak recently, so I've been feeling myself.
Just you wait, Barry. Your reign of good will come to an end eventually. Only a matter of time before the viewers turn on you.
Well, hopefully not with this list, because I feel like I'm doing a pretty great job.
Well, obviously we can tell that you aren't, especially given by how low that dodo bird ranking is on this damn list.
Joe, we're done with the dodo birds. Don't bring it up anymore. Well, up next, we now have the Spinosaurus, and given by just the name, you guys know it's the dudes with the large spiky spine that kind of just looks like a huge fun at the top, and these dudes get an A-tier entry. It's large and carnivorous, and they were also semi-aquatic, and you know that I'm a twerker for carnivorous dinosaurs, so you all know why it's up there.
Why do they make some complicated ass names for some dinosaurs, but then they just give up for dudes like these? Like, were they all talking and trying to come up with a cool ass name, and they just gave up and said, fuck it, let's just name it a Spinosaurus, and called it a day?
I mean, shit. I don't know. I thought it depended on like who discovered it, and then they got the naming rights.
No, you buffoons! God. See, dinosaurs, like all organisms, are named using a scientific system called binomial nomenclature, where each dinosaur receives a two-part name, a genus and a species, often derived from Greek or Latin words describing their characteristics or their location.
Joe, why the hell do you know this useless-ass piece of information?
It's common sense, bro.
Joe, you're so stupid, and I really don't think that it is common sense at all, but whatever. I'm not going to argue with you because we're now entering our final stretch, and we have our last three coming up. And up first, we have a woolly mammoth, and you all know this is getting an S tier. Woolly mammoths were large, shaggy Ice Age elephants with thick fur, long tusks, and small ears. And as you all know, they're very similar to the modern-day elephant, except for the small ear part, of course. But these dudes look freaking cool, and I love their tusks a lot. And to be able to survive at their size in the coldest climates just seems like an impressive feat. But our last two are kind of shitters, and this might be the hater in me, but I have the Dilophosaurus going into C tier and the Velociraptor going into B tier. I almost placed the Velociraptor higher, but I mean, compared to the other ones, it just isn't as cool.
What the hell did the Dilophosaurus do to you? Why is it in C tier?
I just don't like their dumpy looking head, if I'm being quite honest.
Oh, if we're talking dumpies, then I am very interested. But before we proceed to speak further on the matter of dumpies, let's start off with the best one I know, and that is Donald's dumpy.
No way in hell we are.
What is freaking going on, gang-a-lang? We are back with another video, and this time around we have our much anticipated Disney Princes tier list, because you all demanded that we do this one after our much beloved Disney Princesses tier list, and you all know that the Joe Dog will deliver you only the best of the best. Once again, I will be ranking them based on smashability, much like I did with the Disney Princesses.
Well, at least you can objectify both genders, so at least the comments cannot say that you are mistreating one gender over the other. Honestly, I'd be more upset if you weren't objectifying them both.
Don't worry, Brack. The Joe Dog does not discriminate unless you're left-handed, in which case, hey, fuck you, buddy.
Damn, what did the left-handed people do to catch that stray?
I hate the way they write in notebooks. It disgusts me. But anyways, let's talk about my dreamy princes, because we got a decent list here set out in front of us, and let me not waste any more time because I want to dive right in. And up first, we have our sweet curry prince with Aladdin himself. And you already know the Joe Dog loves himself some spice. So I'm going to put him into straight top tier. I'll tell you what, though. If you throw in his little monkey, too, then you'd have the world's first God tier entry, because I can already imagine how the tag team would go crazy and the little monkey's hands could probably reach places that I can only dream of.
Man, so this is really how we're starting this off, our literal first entry, and we're already making me sick to my stomach.
That makes the two of us Barack. I was smelling the princesses, but man, I hate talking about dudes.
Well, the two of you can go suck a lemon, or better yet, suck on some Joe Toes, because this is what the people requested, and the Joe Dog is a man of the people. Except for whenever they ask about the summer of 1973, because my lawyer has heavily advised me to not divulge more information about all those deceased children that were in my trunk alongside the boy in my passenger seat that I kept alive in order to leave him scarred about the whole encounter and forever change the fabric of his existence in life. But yeah, I can't tell you guys about that because that could get me in a bunch of legal trouble.
Joe, you just admitted a whole lot more info about what happened, and I'm pretty sure Fraile isn't going to edit all that out.
That was all hypothetical. If I hypothetically had dead children in my trunk in the summer of 1973, alongside the kid in my passenger seat and Juicy Lucy, who was my partner in crime and would often help lure out said children. So legally, I cannot be held under the court of law or whatever, but enough of that, because we have bigger fish to fry, because our next entry is Milo Thatch from Atlantis, and listen, he's going to get a freaking A tier, and I don't know why, but he's a pretty cool character, and I like his lanky build. Like, he gives me strong gamer vibes, and I feel like if I talked him into it, he'd dress up like a femboy for me.
Well, if he cross-dresses, then that's a different story.
How is that different?
Well, because you're making him look like a girl, and like if he looks hot as a girl, then it's not really gay because he's feminine enough to pass off for a girl. Therefore, you're still straight.
Now, I like knowing that he's packing underneath that skirt. And you know what they say about those lanky men? They are some horses. I'll tell you what.
Donald, what you're saying sounds like Cope and Joe well. Good for you for being inclusive.
Oh boy, you want to talk about inclusive? Then check out my next rating, because I got the Beast and Captain Lai Shang both going into S tier. See, the Beast has two great sides to him.
His internal beauty and external beauty when he becomes human.
No, you idiot. He has his nice beast form if I want to dabble in some animal play, and I know he'll be able to handle some roughhousing from the Joe Dog. And honestly, for some weird reason, it's kind of a turn on to see him in his beast form. But yeah, he's hot when he's a human too. So like, it's the best of both worlds. I don't give a damn about his personality. To me, he's just a hunk of meat. And Captain Lai Shang is another good pick, because I want the people to know that I am indeed into Asian cuisine and see this dude like Mulan when he thought she was a boy. So I know this dude is down for a good old-fashioned sword fight. And I mean, he's got a killer body, bro. He's gonna be my trophy husband for sure.
You know, now that you pointed it out, did he really like Mulan when he thought she was a boy?
I'm gonna keep it real here and admit that don't really remember. I mean, surely he had to like her a bit as a boy, because how else would they click and become lovebirds like right after finding out she was a girl? Like a little piece of him had to have a little crush on her when she was in her cross-dressing phase.
I mean, he got a hot-ass tomboy, so that is a freaking W right there. Something about girls with strong jawlines and somewhat manly features is just so hot.
Okay, the closet you're in right now, Donald, is basically paper thin.
Well, this is the most the audience is ever going to get to see of this version of the Don. Because what else am I supposed to say on a Disney Prince tier list?
You know what? That's extremely true. Fuck it. Captain Lai Shang is pretty hot, I guess.
Finally, my boys have become men. Your third eye truly opens when you can finally appreciate some good-looking dudes.
Lousy.
Well, anyways, speaking of lousy, we have back-to-back C-tier entries with Tarzan and Emperor Kuzco. Now, you guys might be questioning the low rating for Tarzan, but believe me, if he didn't have abs, he'd be in D tier, because I know his shit be stinking. No showers, and he lives around apes. Hell no, man, he's just lucky he looks good, and, well, Emperor Kuzco just kind of looks lousy. Like he looks like himself in his llama form, and that is not a compliment whatsoever. I'm just not a fan. But if Kronk were here, then boy howdy, that would be an S tier.
You know, he also voices Joe from Family Guy, too.
Of course I know that. That's why he'd be going up so high, because the Joe respects any other Joe. It's common Joe knowledge and written in the Joe Etiquette Handbook, but don't worry everyone, because even though Kronk isn't here, we do have an absolute banger of an S tier with Simba. He's such a sweet little lion. And honestly, if I'm gonna nail his wife, then I may as well take the whole family and give him a whirl too.
Man, and you guys make fun of me for being a furry when Joe is clearly the gross one here.
See, the difference between you and Joe is that you're an actual furry, and Joe is just a freak man. I would legitimately put my life savings into Joe winning the freak off between him and Diddy.
Why, thank you, Donald.
That's not a compliment whatsoever.
Can't stop me from taking it as one. But yes, then after we have the dude from Tangled, I forgot his name, but he's all right, and he gets a B tier. I don't really have any strong feelings toward him, much like our next entry, which is Hans from Frozen, because I have him going into C tier. Like, I just don't have a lot to say about these two, but at least the Tangled guy looks kind of good. Hans just looks like a loser, bro, and what kind of names is Hans, bro? That shit just kind of pissed me off when I heard his name for the first time.
So now we're judging people based on their freaking name.
And looks Barack. Don't forget that I am primarily judging based on their looks, but our next entry is one that is absolutely filthy and vile, because I have the prince from Cinderella getting a D tier. He is an absolute buffoon, and the reason why I have him so low is because he's basic as hell, and when given the opportunity to pick the hotter stepsisters with the big freaking feet, he chose Cinderella's dainty ass little toes. Like, nah, man, I would send his ass to the gulag for rejecting the hotter stepsisters and their huge and probably stinky feet. But the stinky feet would only add to the allure, and I'd have him stepping on all sorts of things like eggs, honey, expired meat, and cheeses. Oh man, I better contain myself. But yes, as a footman, I just could not give this guy a pass and had to pass only the harshest judgment because he passed up on greatness for a load of mid.
You're so vile, Joe. I can't believe the only reason you're hating on bro is because of your foot fetish.
Only real feet lovers would get me, because when those toes are longer than fingers, oh man, don't even get me started. But after that shitty dude, we now have John Smith from Pocahontas, and honestly, he gets an A tier. I love his luscious blonde locks, and he just has the intangibles. Like his real-life counterpart dated the real Pocahontas when he was 27 and she was only 10 years old, so you already know that he gets a freaking huge W in the Joe Dog's book.
Wait, if you're glazing him so much, why isn't he in the top tier then?
Because I'm jealous. It wasn't me, and therefore he stays there. But up next, we got back-to-back B-tier entries with Hercules and Kristoff because, well, I don't really like them a ton, but they're still better than the C-tier losers. Like, I just want a bit more from them because I expect more from these freaking princes.
Dude, isn't Hercules technically a god?
Whoa. Settle down there, because he's only half man and half god. Therefore, he isn't as breedable.
I don't even know how that makes any sense.
It doesn't have to, because it makes sense in the Joe Dog's mind, and that is all that matters to me. Well, after that, we got my blue-eyed beauty with Prince Eric, and he is going into A tier, and yet again, it's another entry that I would have placed higher if he hadn't converted my sweet mermaid into a human. He was missing out on that scaly and probably cold mermaid, you see, and he didn't appreciate the greatness entirely until she forced herself to be a human.
Wait, didn't she willingly become a human? How the hell is it his fault, Joe?
Because a real man would have built her a freaking pond to stay inside of and treasured and valued her beautiful fish features. Plus, she was a lot hotter in her little bikini than in a stupid dress. Bro fumbled the bag badly with Ariel.
I'm starting to feel like you're holding things against these princes that you normally shouldn't, man. How the hell is that his fault?
Listen, what the Joe Dog says is the word of law, and you'll have to fight me in my box arena that I set up in the homeless camp if you ever want to change my opinion.
Like a boxing arena.
No, it's an arena made out of boxes. Think of the Thunderdome from Mad Max, but just made out of cardboard boxes and feces.
Gross.
You get used to the smell, but either way, let's move on with the list, because you two are distracting me, and we got another S tier with my chocolate prince. See, Prince Naveen is handsome in his human form, but I'm more interested in what that frog form can do. Like, show me how a frog's tongue really works and show me how far it can really stretch out. Oh, man. I bet that's heaven. I'd ask him to punch my fart box harder than Mike Tyson in his prime.
Okay, Gross, please finish this cursor list.
Again, you guys always stop me when I get to the good part, but whatever. Finishing our list, we have C tiers with Prince Florian and Prince Philip from Snow White and Sleeping Beauty, respectively. See, they're just so incredibly mid and have no personality whatsoever. Like, if I had the 7 dwarves at command, I'd make them do unspeakable things to me. Like, forget Snow White, because she ain't no goddamn prize. And if I were Prince Philip, oh man, let me tell you, Sleeping Beauty wouldn't be waking up to no kiss, if you all catch my drift. I'd poke and prod until she woke up from the Joe scepter.
All right, end of the list. We're done here.
Disclaimer, the following video features a fictional and humorous tier list ranking of various general crime types. No real-life cases, individuals, or events are discussed. The content is purely satirical and intended for entertainment purposes only. It does not promote, endorse, or encourage illegal activity of any kind. All commentary is exaggerated for comedic effect and should not be taken seriously. Viewer discretion is advised.
What is freaking going on, gang-a-lang? We are back with another video, and this time around the great almighty Don will be grading some damn felonies on a tier list because Joe and Barack admitted that I am the most qualified to do this because of the sheer amount of badass aura I exude from merely existing.
Well, I mean, you are the only felon in our group.
Barack, how many times do I have to tell you that you are not a felon or criminal unless you get charged with it? Now tell me, am I in jail right now?
Well, no, you aren't.
Great, now tell me again, who exactly is in the White House? And who is a bum living on the streets and probably surviving off rats and the losers of his box arena tournaments?
Well, you're in the White House and Joe is the second one, but why even mention him? He didn't say anything about you.
Because I'm on his mind a lot. I like that he thinks about me without me having to think it into existence.
No, Joe, it's because I seriously hate you so much. And the only joy I receive in life is whenever I hear about your poor living conditions and your ongoing legal trouble. By the way, I am literally donating money to the opposing attorney that is going against you because I want you locked up behind bars.
This guy can't get enough of me. I love you too, Donald. I'm going to get you an amazing gift for your birthday this year because I seriously didn't know I was on your mind this much.
Joe, I actually despise you.
All right, Donald, enough of your shenanigans. It's not opposite day, silly.
Donald, I don't think he's going to try to understand anything you say. He's living in his own fantasy world, and I don't know if it's the ketamine or whatever substances the homeless people are giving him, but I think it's just best that you just start the list because right now it looks like he's winning.
You're right. I'm going fucking insane talking to him. Well, anyways, we're here with the felonies tier list, and if you all notice, we have 3 blurred out because those are actually extremely heinous felonies, and I think just having them on the screen would have YouTube up our ass farther than how Joe wanted Prince Naveen in his frog form to punch his fart box. So you guys can guess what they are, but just know it's like literally the worst thing imaginable, and I'm more than sure that Joe has done at least 2 of these.
Oh yeah, big time.
You're gross, and shout out Donald for plugging Joe's Disney Prince tier list, but yeah, Joe, you are really the worst one out of the 3 of us.
More like I'm just the one who has the best time out of the 3 of us. Am I right, or am I right, Donald?
Odd, please strike him down. All it takes is one guy having a bad night and just doing a hit and run on Joe. I promise the world will only get better. But yes, let me get this list started, and I will be ranking these based on how badass they are in my books. And up first, we have arson, and this immediately goes to the top because fire is dope and shit. Like you guys ever played with fire. Now imagine that tiny little baby fire getting amplified to a whole forest or building all because you were bored and wanted to light some matchsticks next to a gas station, and you got yourself a cool display of destruction. Of course, I'm gonna glaze this entry.
I remember in the 7th grade, I was hanging out with this kid named Daniel, and he was kind of those weird little misbehaving kids, and I'd be up to no good with him. But I remember one day we were playing with matches in the forest behind our middle school, and I was telling him to be careful, but he was this bad little kid who did whatever he wanted, and he just kept doing it anyways. It started with smoking out anthills and burning random twigs in a pile, but then he wanted to see more and more things burn. So he then decided to start burning the shrubs near the trees, and that escalated to the tree itself, and then the fire started spreading like crazy, and we're both like 12 at the time. So we didn't know what to do. So he just dumped the matches and left, and I wasn't going to get pinned for the crime. So I immediately dipped too, and we biked back to our houses and just saw in the distance the huge clouds of smoke just form near the forest, and eventually the fire trucks were going crazy. And we saw so many of them race down there, and then it was announced that our school was closed for the foreseeable future, and they closed off a section of the woods, and all that was left was ashes upon ashes of what was once a thriving and green landscape. They actually never found out it was us, but I still have nightmares about getting caught to this day. I mean, that all hypothetically, of course, because, of course, I had no involvement with that and never knew a single kid named Daniel.
I know you said hypothetically, Joe, just so you can't have that be added to your laundry list of crimes, but just know that your friend Daniel sounds cool as fuck.
You know, I can't even say anything because this whole list is full of awful crimes, but I guess burning down something is better than manslaughter or some of the other horrible things on here.
Yeah, I never saw much of Daniel after we graduated from middle school because he decided to burn down the local church and then skip town. The last I heard is that he got arrested for evading his taxes in Tucson, Arizona.
You know, I didn't want to comment on that because I was scared you'd rant more, but man, they got him for taxes.
Yeah, man, it just shows that you can burn down a church and possibly even allegedly and involuntarily burn the beloved pastor of our church alive, but you cannot escape the firm grasp of the government's taxes.
Happens to the best of us, Joe. Well, all that extremely traumatic stuff from Joe aside, we now have our next entry, which is kidnapping. And honestly, this gets a C tier because this just seems like a Joe Dog type of crime. And the Don does not endorse that behavior.
I love hearing you call me the Joe Dog. I rarely hear it, but goddamn when I do, it beats any honey pack, any rhino pill, or any sort of Viagra.
Okay, now I am never calling you that ever again. You always find a way to make me feel disgusted with myself, even though I know I've done nothing wrong. God, well, let's move on to better things because we have some dope-ass entries up next with perjury and fraud because I have both of those going straight to the top. Because, well, it's about lying, and to be able to pull a fast one on the government while being under oath just shows the sheer massive size of your balls, and the Don will respect you for it, even if you happen to trick me.
Man, it really just sounds like you respect people who just break laws in general. I guess explains why you like Hunter so much more than Joe.
Let's settle down because he does not like Hunter more than me.
No, I most definitely do, and Hunter also has the most killer parties in Miami, so he beats you by a lot, Joe. But I only respect the cool crimes, Barack, and I'll prove that by placing cybercrime into C tier. Like, this is lame as hell, and I am not gonna look at some hacker like a hero. Like, congrats, keyboard warrior. You managed to steal a ton of money from someone's crypto wallet. It doesn't move me enough, and unless you're pulling off some dope-ass hacking skills like the dude from Watch Dogs or Mr. Robot, I will simply remain unmoved. What has moved me, though, is our next entry, which is burglary, because I have that going into A tier because you're putting yourself at risk by breaking and entering somewhere to steal. And then grand larceny is like that on steroids. So, of course, I have to put that at the top because, damn, it's like they're playing Grand Theft Auto in real life.
Well, Donald, you'll be happy to know that I pulled off plenty of heists. I should be in the Panty Raid Hall of Fame with how many pairs of underwear I have in my safe.
You piece of shit. Is that why I've been missing so many pairs of underwear over the years?
I plead the fifth.
Joe, is that why Michelle has complained to me about missing pairs of panties? I will actually fight you. What the hell, man?
Gross, no, that actually has nothing to do with me. But you definitely should worry more about your own pairs of underwear because the Joe Bandit has definitely struck your underoos.
I don't even want to think about what he does to our underwear after stealing them. Sometimes things are better off left unsaid, and this is one of those moments. Well, continuing with our list, we now have treason, and any single time you betray the country, you're getting hate from the Don, and I will be placing this straight into D tier. This is not cool or badass in any way.
Yeah, but everything else in the list is definitely cool and badass.
We've discussed this already, Barack, and yes, burning shit and committing grand larceny is indeed badass. Well, after that stinker of an entry, we now have blackmail, and this is pretty cool. I like holding shit over people's heads, so some good old-fashioned blackmail is a pretty good entry and gets an A tier in my books. I just don't like it whenever Joe does it to me.
What could he possibly have over you?
Oh, Barry, pray you never find out because I also have some blackmail on you too. Let's just say that the Joe Dog has some very interesting Polaroids of you two when you guys slept over at the White House when I was president.
I knew damn well we shouldn't have had the Mountain Dews that he served us. It was too good, too freaking good to be true. We should have known to never accept a drink from Joe.
I mean, it explains why my ass was always so sore the next day after the sleepover, but I mean, it was kind of worth it for the Mountain Dews. I will twerk my ass all over some Mountain Dews, but enough Dew talk because the list must go on, and up next we have a B tier with the obstruction of justice. Now, this can involve various things like witness tampering, destruction of evidence, or lying to law enforcement, and once again, you're a pretty cool guy if you manage to pull off this bad boy and not get caught. I'm down for some evidence burning if the rest of the gang is.
Oh boy, howdy. I do love me some good old-fashioned witness tampering. Sometimes I just did it for fun, like no one suspects me because I had nothing to gain from it. But it was just fun knowing I toyed with the fate of many people who are most likely currently incarcerated.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Joey. And to top off that good entry, we now have the triple S tier entries with aggravated assault, tax evasion, and substance felonies. Remember that we have to say substances instead of the you-know-what word if we want to get monetized, boys. But yeah, these are once again just cool felonies to have on your record, because if you beat someone so bad it's a felony, then you must be buff as hell. And tax evasion is dope as hell, because who the hell wants to pay taxes? Certainly not the Don. And well, substances are an elite felony, because I know you're someone who loves to party and you are most certainly invited to my cookout.
Don't you mean cookout?
Yes and no, Barack. Well, after that, we now have a mid-entry going into C tier with identity theft, and it's simply because of the fact that you're being someone other than yourself. That's lame. And the Don can never envision himself ever wanting to be any other human other than himself. Luckily, we're saved with a somewhat cooler entry with robbery and extortion, which is going into B tier. Now, this is like the baby version of grand larceny, and it's a lousy version of burglary. Because when I think of a burglar, I think of some sneaky and conniving person who won't get caught. It's like an art form, but when I think of straight up robbery or extortion, it's like a burglary that went wrong and you had no other option but to go this route. And that in itself is lousy. Still cool, though.
I remember when Daniel once...
No more Daniel talk. We are done with him.
Jesus Christ, man, settle down. I didn't want to hear Joe talk about Daniel either, but goddamn, man, use your inside voice. We're not animals. We're freaking presidents, bro. Well, don't worry, Barack. We are almost done with the damn list. And I cannot for the life of me listen to another one of your angry shouts or Joe's rants. So let's wrap this up and keep going, because up next we got another cool one, and that is manslaughter, which is going straight into a banging S tier.
Okay, I've settled down a bit. But, I've heard us say a lot of things on our channel, a lot of messed up things, quite frankly, but never once in all my days of living on this earth would I've expected one of us to say we have another cool one up next, and that is manslaughter, which is going straight into S tier.
What can I say, man? It's cool. But you guys know what isn't cool. Copyright infringement, and this gets a D tier. As content creators, we know that it isn't cool to steal ideas or other people's intellectual property, so you know damn well we don't fuck with this.
We have placed copyright infringement in a lower tier than manslaughter. Dear God, what's next? Murder going into B tier.
Come on, Barack, don't be silly.
Oh, thank God we're still somewhat sane.
Yeah, because we all know that murder gets a freaking banging S tier.
Okay, there it is. I can't have one single video where we're all normal.
Maybe the next list will try to do that for you, Barry. Don't be sad.
Joe, I know you're lying to me.
Yeah, but you can at least give me props for trying to make you feel better.
No, Joe, no lies are needed, because Barack needs to take it like a man.
I believe he already does take it like a man, if you catch my drift.
Good one, Joe. But yes, ending off our wonderful list that hopefully won't get us spanked by YouTube, we now have forgery, and this gets an A tier. It's pretty all right.
I seriously hate this list so much, and I pray to God that YouTube doesn't spank us or give us a strike for this video.
That sounds like a Fraile problem and not an us problem.
You know what, I guess that's true. At least we won't have to worry about this video anymore, and we can all finally relax.
You know, funny story, but this whole list reminds me of a funny time when me and Daniel...